Je me trouve en ce moment au Musée d'art contemporain du Canada de Toronto, en fait, où il y a une expo sur Kapwani Kiwanga, qui est une artiste multidisciplinaire qui est née à Hamilton, qui est ensuite partie vivre en France. Alors oui, d'abord elle a étudié l'anthropologie avant vraiment de se dédier à l'art, et c'est la première expo majeure dédiée à cette artiste, et j'ai décidé d'en parler avec la commissaire du MoCA, November Paynter. Bonjour November.
Bonjour, hello.
Merci de nous avoir ici au MoCA. Tout d'abord, peux-tu me dire qui est cette artiste?
Kapwani Kiwanga is an incredible artist. I've actually known her for maybe over 10 years. I worked with her previously when I used to live in Istanbul. And then when I arrived in Canada, I reached out because I knew she was Canadian. And it took us maybe 6 years almost to work together at this scale, but I was really excited to do so, and the opportunity allowed us to produce a number of new works together for this exhibition. And as you probably know, she's going to be representing Canada at the next Venice Biennale next year, so it was really good timing as well for us.
Qu'est-ce qui fait que c'est une artiste qui se distingue en ce moment?
Kapwani, she makes really beautiful, really aesthetic, stunning work from really complex, diverse materials. But there's a really strong inquiry or layers of research that go into the practice. And she's been very subtly kind of exploring colonial kind of impacts across the world, really looking at, in this particular instance, how agriculture and plant life have played such a strong relationship within how society functions. She talks a lot about exit strategies. So really thinking about those moments in history that might be traumatic or difficult and how we can think about them differently.
Et comment est-ce que ça se manifeste dans les pièces qu'on voit autour de nous?
Well, for this exhibition, it's titled Remediation. And we really, at the beginning, wanted to think about certain interests of Kapwani. So she's been doing research already into botany and its relationship to power structures internationally. And she spoke a lot to me at the beginning about, growing up in Hamilton and issues of pollution in Hamilton, but also the fact there's a botanical garden there. Also thinking about the site here and the industrial impact of this area in Toronto. So thinking about plants in relation to toxic environments and how we can use them to remediate those environments. So all the works in the exhibition to some extent think about our relationship to nature, both from actual installations that have plant life, that are filtering the water, the air, the soil, and then other works we see in the background where we're thinking about industrial materials such as the shade cloth that impacts the land, but it's also helping plants to grow.
Tu as parlé du fait qu'il y a des pièces qui sont spécifiques au MoCA, à ce lieu où on se trouve, au contexte en fait historique de ce lieu. Peux-tu les décrire?
So in this exhibition, a number of the works are site-specific. There's a floor piece that obviously has been laid to respond to the space and the environment and actually wraps itself around one of the walls. And that's a completely new work for Kapwani and new material use. There's a wall with banana leaves applied to it. Again, a completely new way of working with a material that she hasn't worked with before, that's site-specific. And then the biggest installation that's very site-specific is a series of wall window treatments, whereby Kapwani saw that there was this opportunity with an existing wall covering the windows, but wanted to think about the light filtering in different colours. There's a lot of works that refer to filtering systems, again thinking about filtering the soil and the water, but also light and how filtering light impacts our relationship with nature in many different ways.
Et ça se reflète aussi dans des vraies plantes vivantes qui sont présentées dans l'exposition.
Yeah, exactly. So there is one work which is called Keyhole, and it's based on her research into the keyhole gardens that were established in Lesotho, which is a small country in the middle of South Africa. And those gardens have been used to allow people to farm more easily. So there's a lot of issues there of climate change. There's a very high percentage of people who have AIDS or HIV who find it very difficult to go out into the land and work on the fields. So these keyhole gardens bring the gardening experience, the agricultural experience to the doorstep, make it very sustainable and controllable. And it's a permacultural technique where you put the compost into the center and it feeds all the plants. But in her iteration, obviously, it's a much more conceptual presentation, and we selected plants with her that filter the earth, the water and the air, and we source them from a local grower, well, actually near Ottawa. So a lot of the work we do is also thinking about, how we can bring these materials together sustainably as well.
Donc on a jusqu'au 23 juillet pour voir cette expo. Merci beaucoup November.
Thank you so much. Merci.